Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Vortex campaign with Clan Pestilens. Now, last episode was a fairly quiet affair, as we conquered some new territory, moved armies around, defeated Lord Skrolk, and otherwise just a nice casual affair. But at the end of the episode, I decided to enact the Vortex ritual, and we're starting things off, as a result, with an ambush by one of the armies that spawned due to the Vortex ritual. So, I can't remember what Ekich has at his disposal, although we can see he is currently riding on a Screaming Bell. Yeah, let's fight the battle, see how we do. Actually, let's help things out a bit. Let's get some uses of the menace below, because we've got plenty of food to use. And, yeah, let's fight the battle now, shall we? So guys, here we are. As you can see, Lord Skrolk is about to get ran over by the Plague Furnace, being piloted by Vectic. These ambushes do make me laugh when this sort of thing happens. But anyway, at this point, the game has realised, right, it's time for me to control my army, and I start moving into position. Now, I spotted some enemy units over on this side of the map initially, so I guessed the rest of the army was in the trees, so I decided to pull my army back to here. Now you can see what I've got is basically a standard formation, trying to get my forces into as good a position as I can. Bearing in mind, some of them are going to have to travel a bit of distance to get there. Luckily for me though, we'll actually get there fairly quick, and the enemy is pretty slow. And decided to take the opportunity with stuff like Scalp Rapier, just charging straight into the Hellpit Abomination, before getting supported by some slingshots from my gutter runners over here, the Snag's Seek Killers. Now at this point, the enemy is trying to do some damage with summoning in some enemy units over here. I've brought in some of my own clan rats just to try and hold the enemy's advance in place, while we try and get my troops into position. In particular, with the fact that we've got 3 lots of Plaguelord catapults, including the Claw of Barbonicus, which is here in fact, with 6 of them rather than 4, I figured I want to try and hold them in place so we can just go out to town on them. And not only that, but we're about to unleash a plague right in the middle of this group of enemies. The game's taken a second to figure out what to do, but we're going to see a lot of damage being done over there. In fact, if I remember right, Skrolk is the one that's done it, and you just see his count going up higher and higher and higher with every second. Fantastic. Now, back here, you do notice, the part that my unit is running away. I managed to spot this unit of Warp Lightning Cannons in the trees, so I summoned in a unit of Clan Rats using the Menace below, just to try and deal with them. But what I didn't realise until I summoned them is that we've got all these units nearby. As you can see if I hover over them, we've got some Storm Vermin, we've got Knight Runners mainly, taking shots at my troops, and they're not going to be able to withstand the volley of fire for long. So as a result, they start routing. Now over here, the enemy has also got a unit of Plaguelord catapults, but luckily for me, they've deployed them in a very crappy position. You can actually see right here that some of the shots are just hitting the trees instead of making its way through. So luckily for me, the artillery is no big concern. It does mean though that we can focus on the enemy infantry instead. And my artillery is a much bigger concern. You can see the shots coming from the Plaguelord catapults going across the map right there. Over here, you can see Vectic has decided to lead the charge against some Storm Vermin. But even though he's not the best in combat, he does have the Plague Furnace, which has aspects to it, like the magical aura, the fact that it does armor piercing damage, and it just does a ton of stuff. And already, we've got the enemy to retreat here. In fact, luckily for me, we managed to miss the spell with Vectic, but the Scorch does make its way through some of my Storm Vermin here. But it's okay, it's all good. Unfortunately, I am trying to kill off the enemy commanders as much as I can. We can see if over here, for example, the Gracier, Ikich, is hiding in the tree line. So I've got Vectek trying to take some shots in, as well as the new unit we recruited recently, the Scourge Sentinels. Now, I wasn't knowing what to expect originally when I saw their unit cards, but you can see that they're actually using a magical attack from their staffs in order to do damage. And hovering over them on the tooltip on the corner, you can see their missile strength is fairly high, and they do have a fair bit of ammunition to them. The range isn't too bad either, so all in all, fairly impressive unit, and we'll be seeing how effective these guys can be later on. But for the moment, I had them going after Ekich because he is a large target, being on the Screaming Bell, and I figured it would make a good target for them. But as they're firing then, you can see that we're clearing things up, mainly in the centre with the enemy army. The Chosen Pestilens are hanging on in there, but they have taken a few casualties across the board. Unfortunately, it's just one of those things. Luckily though, my own Claw Barbonicus and the Plagues from the Sky are just doing a ton of damage to the enemy's position, and even Skrolk has been helping out in battle over here, you can see. So, even though we've got some Chosen Pestilens and some, well, Herald Bearers of Plague to come in and help, he's also done a fair few kills in close combat himself. And just about to hear another blast go off. There it is. Luckily though, those are just some clan rats we summoned in, so not an important unit. Don't care if it takes any damage. Now at this point though, the enemy has basically lost a lot of their troops. If I hover over here, you can see they've been knocked down to about 1,000 at this point, whereas we've only taken a few hundred. So yeah, going very much in our favour. It's just trying to deal with as much of them as we can. Given the fact that we've got situations scattered across the map, like, you know, still got night runners taking shots at me and things like that. I can't get them with my artillery, so I'm going to have to try and get into melee with them. And we're just trying to do it as we can. The only annoying thing is units like the Gracia Ekich still hanging on and casting spells. I don't think he did a lot of damage, but still, 100 losses is a fair amount, I must admit. Not only that, but if I hover over, you can see that we've taken about 500, so 1/5 of those comes from Ekich using his spells. But at this point, the battle is won. We just try to chase down as many of the enemy as I can. I think it was later than I remember that. Oh no, hang on, they're the ones who set the ambush. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, I'm chasing after the enemy at this point just to try and kill off as many of them as I can before we go back to the campaign map. But victory is mine, so I shall see you guys back there. So, a close victory, but I'm pretty happy with the results. We took a few casualties, but not even lost any full units. The enemy had a lot of theirs wiped out, and if we can, 13% replenishment. Yeah, we'll eat the captives. It's only fair, the weak should fall to the strong, and yeah, hopefully we'll be okay now. Unless we have another attack. Oh, this might be a little tougher though. What do they have? Storm Vermin, Clan Rats, Gutter Runners, Rat Ogres could be interesting. Everything else though is relatively the same. Now admittedly we could fight this. I feel pretty comfortable about our chances, to be honest with you. But if we can pull back and go after them one at a time in true Skaven faction, or even more of us than one of them, that will be more useful. Let's retreat.
We shall return.
Not exactly the best place to be retreating to the Wellsprings of Eternity, but hopefully now this means they can't chase after us. There we go. Okay then, let's continue. So, we're starting things off with Mormel, plus the Pillars of the Unseen Constellation, all these pop-ups, Forbidden Rod, another Hellpit Attendant. Right, let's have a look and see what we can do about Hag Reef. Now, I'm not that familiar with this area of the map, so I'm not entirely sure where the enemies would be, but there is one right here. So, we could actually try and go round and attack. I wonder if we could. If we can land just close enough to Tor Lasor, we might... Oh, it's their capital. Oh, wow, this could make... It's their capital with a crap garrison. Well, it's not their capital, but it's the capital of the province, is what I mean to say. But it's got a very crap garrison, so if we can just land... Oh, we're just slightly out of range, god damn it. Never mind, never mind. Right, you're putting together your new army, Mertable. Oh crap, I forgot to change your name. Damn, I'm gonna have to do it for next time. I couldn't do it myself, obviously, because let's save things at the battle, but damn, I forgot to write your name down. We'll sort it out for next episode, I promise. Right. Let's start bringing up reinforcements to deal with the Chaos Incursion. So first of all, Deathmaster. Let's move you over to the Chamber of Visions. Alright, Skrolk. Unfortunately, he hasn't had much of a time to recover. Although... Sorry, part of me is a little tempted right now just to attack the Wellsprings, take it, and then that will give us an area to replenish. Otherwise, the other thing we could do is use the underway and see if we can teleport to this side next to the monument, just so we can get the... In fact, even better idea. Bubborat is at full strength. He has a lightning strike. We've got a follower of Chaos Army right here. We've got another one back here. And of course we've got these guys to deal with too. Right, if I get you to attack, that's 53%. And he's in forced march. Okay. Okay, let's do this. I'm going to move you out. We're going to use Skrolk to try and teleport over. Okay, that's worked out fine. So, one turn of replenishment, he'll be in a position to help the attack. So let's grab Bubborat. And we're going to go after Veritas, first of all. So just to remind me, bunch of Chosen with great weapons, Chaos Warriors, Chaos Knights, Warhounds, Spawn, Trolls, Hell Cannons, and Giant... Right. This could be a little bit of a tough fight. Let's see if our forces are going to be up for it. So, let's launch the assault. If we're lucky, we'll trigger an ambush. Fail to spot the ambush, but still not entirely in my favour. Right. Let's get some other uses of these. If we're going to use it, it's when we got a Chaos Invasion to deal with. So, we'll do the Lightning Strike, just to reduce the enemy's morale a little bit. Not that it might help that much against Chaos. And, yeah. Let's see how we do. So here we are, guys, and this time I am the ambusher and not the AI. Now I must admit, when I was fighting this battle and looking at this bit at the beginning, and just seeing the ranks of Chaos Warriors marching in formation like this, just looked really, really cool, I must say. I mean, just to go across here, I mean, got a couple of them out of step, admittedly, but on the whole, it just looks really, really cool. It's quite happy to see this. But anyway, we're not here to admire the formation, we're here to slaughter them, and we've got Bubborat's army over here, deployed to attack. Now what I've done is gone for a pretty standard formation, spears on the flanks. I've put a mixture of the Septic Guard and the Plague Rats in the center just to deal with the enemy's cavalry, because they've got quite a few units and I was a little concerned about dealing with them. We actually centered off a Plague spell right here, because I was hoping to try and catch some of the Chaos Knights with it, but unfortunately for me we didn't actually do that much damage. A little bit disappointed, I must be honest. But the enemy is still just starting to react to my attack, and it gave me an opportunity just to point out a couple of extra deployments. So over here, I got my 2 units of Rat Ogres, the Horned Rat's Fury. Their jobs were to go after the enemy Hell Cannons at the back of the formation. Now, they are going to take a little while to actually get into combat, because I was concerned about sending them while the Chaos Giants were nearby. So, yeah, I'm going to take a couple of hits from the Hell Cannons, but we'll be able to deal with them easily enough. We'll just have to watch out for the Giants in case they come running back to defend. Over on this side then, you can just about make them out in the trees, but I got a Loch Ishini as well as Viskrin's Death Squad in position. Now, their target was to actually go after the enemy commander. A Loch Ishini should be able to deal with them pretty easily, and I figured the Death Squad should be capable of doing some weird charges when needed. But we'll get to that eventually. If I speed things up though, you can see some early shots coming in from the Zap Zap, as well as a shot over here into the Septic Guard from the Hell Cannons, unfortunately. Now, luckily for me, most of the enemy's force was marching towards mine, and over this side we got their monsters. But my Septic Guard, as well as the Plague Rats, are going to be able to deal with these quite well, especially when I bring in the Septic Spears to try and help things out. Over here, though, I decided to go for a bit of a bold move. As you can see, I've brought in Bubborat to go straight into the enemy's advance. Now, he's not going to do extremely well, I must admit, against the enemy's attack. I mean, he is heavily outnumbered at this point, and of course he is dealing with the Chaos Lord. But I figured we should be okay. We're using Skrolk's Pox just to reduce the enemy stats a little bit. He is still hanging on in there with what he's got available to him. And at this point, Alok Ishini is charging in to try and help deal with the Chaos Lord. I've also got the Death Squad somewhere, oh, over here in fact, there they are. They've charged into the enemy's rear as I've brought in some of the Septic Guard to attack. We've got basically Plague Rats trying to go across the map to do some damage wherever we can. I am also using River to try and help deal with the vast amount of armor that Chaos Warriors tend to have at their disposal. But yeah, we're doing okay. We're getting some blasts coming across thanks to Alok Ishini's magical weapon. And if we head over to this side, you can see that the Chaos Knights have come in and they're doing okay against the Septic Spears, but we do have them outnumbered, and once we start bringing in the Guard and that as well, should swing things more in our favour. Now the Chaos Spawn here is losing quite badly to the Plague Rats. You can see as well a lot of mutated bodies which aren't rat-like. This is thanks to not only my own troops fighting in combat, but also the sneakers back here. Not done a lot of casualties, but what do you expect when they're just using slings against heavily armoured troops? Now, if I head over here a second, you can see that we're doing okay against the Hell Cannons, with some help from the Zap Zap, obviously. Unfortunately, this unit's doing quite okay. We've managed to nearly kill it off, and we will do any second. The other one has come fairly close, but unfortunately the Horn Rat's Fury got caught up with a Giant, and the Giant is able to do a fair bit of damage against him. We are trying to help out though. We got the Zap Zap just firing away into the Giant's position. You can see back here we got some Chaos Trolls running away, luckily for me. And while we've got other units scattered across the map, luckily though, things are going very much in our favour. Now if we speed things up again a bit, over in the centre where Bubborat's been fighting, we've brought in Slice in to help out, and we've done a fair bit. The enemies, while not exactly running away, they are shaken. They are starting to withdraw, which is great for me as I bring my troops in to help take the advantage. Now they are just about hanging on in there, some of them lasting more than others. The Chaos Knights we got here, this is one of the 4 units we saw running off towards the flank earlier, but my Septic Spears have been able to deal with those easily enough. We do have some news though that one of the Horned Rat's Fury has run away, but it's okay, it's one of those things to be expected. As you can see though, the battle is pretty much now won. A lot of the enemy's units have either routed or shattered completely. I think this is the only real holdout, is dealing with the enemy's Giants, as well as anything else that's left, like the Warhounds and what's left of the Hell Cannons. The Knights are going to hold on a little longer, but as I bring in more units to deal with them, they soon break, and yeah, we've won. Took a few casualties, but on the whole I'm pretty happy with how the battle went. We're now just going to try and kill a few more of them, so you can see the Zap Zap is blasting away. We managed to knock down one of the Giants, which was amazing, and as he gets back up then we're just stabbing him now with our spears, and between our spears and our shots we managed to kill one completely. The other one's going to take the same fate, hopefully soon. But at this point I'm just chasing down the enemy units, and with that we can go back to the campaign map. So, a heroic victory for Bubborat and Veritas, as we managed to get him in ambush, and the fact that he was in march stance should hopefully mean now the entire army was wiped out. So let's just have a look what we can do with the captives. I mean, 8% is not exactly a big deal, But I suppose every little bit would help, wouldn't it? Sure. Give the game a second to catch up. Okay, that's that army dealt with. We picked up Scum as well. His fetid potion knits bones, seals flesh, and staunches the flow of blood from mortal wounds. So, it gives us 6% extra hit points, and the ability to restore up to 1,500. But it's only a one-use item. So, enchanted item. Now, bearing in mind Bubborat in that previous fight, let's have a quick look at your items. You got the Terrifying Mask of E. Okay, that gives you terror. Oh, I might keep that then. Never mind. Okay, instead, do we think we feel comfortable enough maybe going after another army? I don't want to go after Well, just because that Chaos Dragon Lord is giving me a bit of a fight, I'm not going to lie. And the chariots aren't going to help me much either. In fact, that is a terrifying army to look at, just because the sheer amount of mounted units they've got. And just show off here, anti-infantry. And what do I have in armies like Bubborat? Mainly infantry. But I could push forward in order to try and... Yeah, let's push forward and see if we can take out Ekich. We managed to get the ambush. We'll go for the kill. So that's two armies now dealt with Bubborat. And we'll go ahead and get the replenishments. Alright, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to pull him back to here. If the enemy tried to attack us then, what we'll hopefully be able to do is retreat back to the monument of Isatau, be in a defensive position then, and then we'll be able to pull back, counterattack. I don't want to use March to try and get him any closer because we won't be able to retreat. And given some of the potential armies we'll be facing, especially the Chaos one, I'd rather have that option, So we'll leave you guys for now. And I think that's everybody pretty much moved, isn't it? Skrolk, Plaguelord, Upskeef, Deathmaster's making his way up. Yeah, we might be able to catch up with this army here. Garrett, what do you have? Okay, Helping Abomination, basically the same Skaven army we've defeated before. The only addition is that they do have Death Globe Bombardiers. Right, we'll have to bear that in mind. But they got plenty of gutter runners. But so do we. In fact, we got Death Mask runners, which I believe are even better. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. In the meantime, now we've got 18,000 to spend. Is there anything we want to try and upgrade? Sentinels of Zeti can be upgraded. Sure, you can get that. Alright, Great Tidal Isle, I'll go ahead and just give you that. Yeah, not really worth it. Okay, Fortress of Dawn, I'm gonna increase your fortifications, especially since, who do we have here? Klendrak. Couple of monstrous creatures. But, if he tries to attack my garrison... Ooh, I don't know if I feel comfortable about that, in all honesty. But, given that Mormel now is taking the fight to Hargreaves settlements, we might just have to accept it and move on. Instead... Temple Lustria, let's give you that. Anything else? Hissing God, I think it will be useful to try and get some better defenses. We've already got some here, though. And bear in mind, even if these armies come to attack us, they're pretty crappy armies. So I think we'll be fine there. Anywhere else? Kayaks? Let's go ahead and give you that. Let's try and increase our money a bit more. You can have that. You can have defenses. We'll destroy that. Like so. I think that should be everyone. Alright, let's quickly go through the skills. So, Ekich, for example... Oh, we've actually defeated your predecessor recently. Hi, you're the one we've already done all of that for. Right, so let's give you... Got Warp Lightning, giving you a point in Scorch. Sure, we'll finish that off then. Alright, Plague Rock. You can assault units. I don't know how long it's going to take for you to get down here. A couple of turns that way. What about this way? 37%. Ah. Okay, in that case, let's actually get you down this way. See if that might be of any use. And then we got... Where is Obskeef? Okay, Obskeef, let's just keep you there for the moment. It'll be a good opportunity for me to keep an eye on enemy units. So we got like Gorwok making his way down with a ton of units. That's going to be fun. Right, Bubborat. What to give you? I think we'll finish off a Scarred Veteran this time, because he did extremely well in that fight. And... we don't really need any of the others, like Indomitable, because his leadership's reasonably good. I think we'll just see about working on improving our characters a bit more. Well, they're saying now we haven't really got much here that we need to think about for him. His army particularly. We'll go for Rally. In fact, what I'll do... I know we could do with a little bit of extra health, but let's go for Rally. And let's have a look. Storm Vermin, Skaven, Gutter Runners, Death Runners, Mutagenic. None of these actually give... Oh no, this does give bonuses for Plague Monks. I'm going to go and give you Whip Smart, just because we do have more Clan Rats and, you know, the Septic Guard in this army than we do for the Plague Monks. Yeah, that should do. Alright, Slice In. What to do with you now? Conviction, we'll leave, or just focus on Foe Seeker. Maybe give you some better melee defense. I mean, to be fair, he did quite well in the fights, didn't he? Going up against Chaos Knights in the Plague, oh god, what's it called? Plague Cauldron, isn't it? Oh, that's going to bug me now, I'm going to have a look. But anyway, Alakashini has finished everything here, so let's go and give you Sneaky, and Trixie, because why not? Oh, what is it? Like Plague Furnace, isn't it? No, that's Alakashini. Yeah, Plague Furnace, my mistake. Right, let's hit enter and see what happens. Okay, here comes Terran. Oh, God, no. Oh, crap. Okay. So, Dreadsaurian, Feral Carnosaur, Ancient Stegodons, bunch of Pterodons. Not the most ideal army to be facing here. Well, we're gonna have to fight it. Let's get some uses of the Menace Blur to help us out, and I'll see how we do. Well, Skrolk, here we are, ready to defend the monument. And let me tell you now, mates, it's going to be a tough one. Anyway, guys, welcome to the battle, where we're going to face a double wave of Lizardmen forces. One of which is led by Tehran, and that's the army we can see in the front of us right now. And then over to the corner, we've got the enemy's reinforcements, led by this guy. Lord Skrolk, or however you pronounce it. I'm not the best with that, I'll be honest. But these guys are going to take their sweet time to get over to me, luckily, so we only have to deal with Tehran's forces. And given he's got an assortment of everything from Temple Guard to solar engines, Whipperdactyls, and so on, it's going to be a tough one. Now, luckily though, I've got quite a lot of forces at my disposal, thanks to having both Lord Skrolk and the garrison from the monument. Now, I've gone for a pretty, well, broad and deep formation with a lot of different levels. We've got everything like the Night Runners and Gutter Runners on this side. We've got Clan Rats from the garrison over here. My formation in the front is a mixture of the Chosen of Pestilens, as well as any Storm Vermin we picked up, and the Council Guard, and so on. We've also got Scourge Sentinels, Poison Wing Globadiers, the Teeth Breakers, and Sag's Sneak Killers in the back, ready to take the enemy head on. But what I've also done is put a lot of the Skaven slaves that started off in the garrison army right up front as far as I can put them. Their job is to hold the enemy in advance, so we can blast them with magic, artillery, and anything else we can shoot at them. Now, they're not going to last a long time because they are Skaven slaves. I mean, it's pretty much in the description, they are not the best to in the fighting. But as long as they could do some damage and hold the enemy in place, I would have been quite happy. Now, we start things off with an artillery barrage, courtesy of the Plagues in the Sky, as well as the Claw of Bubborat. Got them actually shooting off in slightly different directions, because I was trying to target the enemy's Temple Guard, and kill off as much of them as we possibly can. As you get a bit closer though, you can see the Whipperdactyls are just starting to come in front. They're going to go straight for the Skaven slaves. Luckily though, their job is doing it right, they're holding the enemy in place. Although, actually, I'm going to take a minute, because I never got to see during the battle, what is this orange aura around Tehran? So if I bring the thing over a second, let me have a quick look. Wild Heart, is it? Plague of Sotek, maybe? I don't know, maybe if I click on you. Bolton of Warden, Blade of the Serpent Tongue? I have no idea what's actually causing that aura. Not that it really matters, anyway, we're just making do with it best we can. So, as we start things off though, you can see I'm bringing in all the Skaven slaves into one location. The enemy is charging in as well with what units happen to be nearby. And, well, we just lodged his orbital death laser. Kind of lucky though, it missed all the Skaven slaves, it just went straight past them. Although, he's going to be more accurate about that later on, let me tell you that. And, yeah, it's getting a little close then, didn't it? Anyway, as the enemy now have been held in position, I've let loose with one Plague spell. Doesn't do much damage as I would have liked. I mistimed the direction where I was supposed to be trying to aim it. But it's okay, we're managing fine. Although these salamanders aren't going to be helping things too much. And I did summon another unit of... Oh no, I didn't. That came a little later, my bad. I meant to say about the claw. Now, something I was a little unprepared for, admittedly, is this Feral Manticore appearing out of the blue, courtesy of the... I can't remember what the spell's called, but it's with the Law of Beasts, and it makes it so you can summon in a Feral Manticore. And as I use in my mod pack, the mod that allows summoned creatures to stay with us, yeah, they just summoned another monster onto the battlefield. But this was what scared the most out of me in the fight. We've got 6 units of Whipperdactyl riders heading straight towards my lines. Now granted they are very tired, so it's going to reduce them a little bit, but their stats are pretty good still. And yeah, there is 6 of them heading towards my units, so like I said, I'm a little concerned. Now, as we get a little closer though, you can see the battle has already been joined over on my left flank. I've got some of my units like the Herald Bearers and that trying to hold the Lizardmen in place. So I can bring the, well, Eshin troops around to try and flank them. I'm also doing some damage against these other units of Temple Guard making their way towards me. We are still trying to shoot them with artillery the best we can, but yeah, it's a lot of stuff going on though in the battle. Over here, we had an overcast from... Who was it actually? Might have been Vectic. Yeah, because we were trying to charge things up and cast a spell. Across the line though, we're doing some damage to the enemy and holding them in place. Basically here, I got, well, Tehran in place here, we've got the Bastardon. And what I ended up doing was trying to hold Tehran in place because of the fact that I wanted to take advantage of our Scourge Sentinels. These guys are firing away, they are anti-large, so they're going to do some extra damage against him. And I've decided to try and bring in Scalpake to help out as well. It's not going to be the best job for him, because even though he is a very highly experienced commander, and, you know, on Bone Crusher and everything, it just doesn't match up against Tehran on his Stegodon. But anyway, we've managed to deal with the Feral Manticore, which was quite nice. And over on this side, we're sort of holding the enemy in position. These guys, though, have been going to hang on for an extremely long time. A very, very long time, in fact. Although, it's nice to see you just collapse in death. Anyway, we've still got artillery getting blasted across. I've got Skrolk at this point, trying to help out by going after the Salamander pack here. And across the centre, we've got Skaven slaves running past, Scalpakes trying to fight. And I'm just waiting really for a good opportunity to bring in all my Chosen of Pestilens. Now we do charge them in. Skrolk is trying to catch up though with the Salamanders. Does pin them in place. And we do have units like the other Chosen trying to march forward when I remember to get them going. Okay, we've got other spells being casted across the map like the Flock of Doom. All these Whipperdactyls are just slowing things down dramatically. But we are trying, Got the Chosen of Pestilens losing unfortunately during the fight. Without just holding them in place though, we want to try and take out Tehran as much as possible. So that's why I'm just blasting away with everything we've got at our disposal. The Poison Wing Globadiers, Scourge Sentinels, the works. Now we've pretty much cleared up a lot of the enemy units in this position. Even the units like the Whipperdactyls are being retreated. So all in all, I was pretty impressed with the Chosen of Pestilens and what they managed to do. But yeah, things are going to go a little different in a minute. Over here though, Skrolk is still trying to hold the enemy in position, although unfortunately the Whipperdactyls have now caught up with him. So yeah, they're unable to stop the Salamanders from firing. So I brought my Chosen of Pestilens unit here to try and fight them. We've got the Sensor Bearers coming in from the garrison to try and help things out a bit. And yeah, it's just a mess right here in the center. Now if I just slow things down a little bit and lift things up, you can see we've still got a few ranged units like the Skink Skirmishers taking shots. I've got my artillery focusing on these guys mainly because everyone else is in melee at this point, and I didn't want to take any friendly fire. They do have units like Lord Harrington Nichley is still coming in, and we've got the Dread Saurian making his way in. Now, I don't actually remember before this battle ever seeing the Dread Saurian, so, or we might have seen it before, but yeah, it was a little terrifying to see, to be honest, when they came in. It just looked like a cool model, though, I must admit. Now, this is what caused me a lot of concern during the fight. Tehran managed to launch his orbital death beam again, and this time it just sliced right through my units of Chosen of Pestilens. So, yeah, I took a ton of damage with these guys. In fact, like, one of the units got reduced down to 8 men. And so it was like, right, there goes a lot of my infantry. I'm going to have to pull them back so they don't die. So I try and end up doing that. I believe I actually sent Skullpake in to try and hold Tehran in place, while I sent bringing my Plague Monks back behind my troops line here. But the Scourge Sentinels, though, luckily for me, just missed getting shot by the orbital death beam. And between the two units carrying on, you can see how much damage they managed to do to Tehran. Very, very happy with their results so far. But yeah, look at the amount of deaths I've got from my Plague Monks. Poor waddies. Yeah, again I'm running away at this point just because they weren't going to be able to hang on much longer. Now speaking of hanging on much longer though, Tehran has started to retreat. Very good timing because we still got units like the Bastardon to try and deal with, as well as units now making their way in like the Dread Saurian. Now in fact, where is he? Oh no, he is coming in over here. Right, it's the Salamanders that are still hanging on, taking shots in when they can. Now, unfortunately for me, I was going to have to start relying on my last unit of Chosen, as well as the Clan Rats that are over on this flank. We do have some units like the Sensor Bearers here that were part of the garrison, or were these the units I recruited? You know, I can't remember. Doesn't matter for the moment. Bastardon now is losing decisively to Skullpake. We've still got Whipperdactyls flying across the map here and there, although I am trying to take shots of them whenever I can. Yeah, it's just turned to a bit of a mess. Over here you can see that we managed to deal with the units of enemy Coxagors, but the Whipperdactyls have come in and they're going to do a fair job against the Council Garden Gnats. Especially when spells like that are about to kick off. Boom! Oh dear. Yeah, like I said, it's kind of chaotic right now. It really, really is. Now we're still trying to hang on here with what troops I can send into the fight. We've got a ton of units to deal with though. Let's slow things down and make it a bit clearer. You can see we've got the Dread Saurian. I believe Tehran is still somewhere in the mix. Oh no, he's right here, making his way back. We've got the Slam Mage Priest making sure to cast spells and that when needed. Yeah, it's just a mess, to be honest. And bear in mind, this is still not all the enemy army. Most of them are still back here, including an ancient Stegodon. We're going to have to deal with those at some point. Anyway, you can see shots from the Teethbreakers trying to provide some support in the center. I got my Claw catapults even firing in close to try and do some damage to the Dread Saurian. Luckily for me though, it does take some damage, and it's going to be enough to get it retreated in short order. Although it's just, every time I manage to deal with one unit, another one comes running in, like the Whipperdactyls here. Now I even had to summon in some Plague Monks to try and help increase my number of my units, but it's not the most ideal of situations here, let's be honest. Now luckily for me though, Terran is starting to come down to his last 500 odd health, and he gets lower and lower. He starts retreating, and I figured since he was the starting commander, it would be a good opportunity for me just to try and kill him off when I could. Now what was surprising though, I believe, he manages to get down to like 0 health for a little while, and doesn't actually die until I get another few shots in. In fact, here you go. Perfect example. 0 health, yet he's still running. He's still okay. He's not regenerating or anything like that. It's only when I figured, right, I have to kill him off, that I lodged a few more shots in, and eventually he does die. In fact, or was it actually from a spell? I'm trying to remember from doing it late last night, so I could be wrong. But I know I ended up trying to kill him off because I didn't want him to run off the map. But anyway, at this point, there we go, there's the blast, and there we go, he's injured. Finally managed to get him. Anyway, it does enough of a morale debuff that you can see some of the enemy's units are starting to retreat. Whipperdactyls started to run away, for example, so did these. We've still got all these Source Warriors and that coming in from the second wave, but I've got enough artillery shells that we're able to try and do some damage to them. In particular, units like the Salamanders, I'm trying to target these guys so we don't have to take any shots from their fire breath, but others are going to be able to get in a little bit more closer. And we've still got units here like the Carnosaur, as well as some Saurus Warriors coming in. Bastiston's still hanging on in there, and my Plague Monks are just trying their best, but you can see they're just losing more and more health. Even though this Carnosaur is exhausted and is anti-large, it's still fairly decent against my lightly armoured Plague Monks. But all I can keep doing is firing away with whatever troops I've got at my disposal. My Scourge Sentinels are trying to use the last of their ammo against the Lord initially here, and we've also got both Vectech and Skrolk in position to try and go after them. We've got some Saurus Warriors here then facing my Clan Rats I've summoned in using the Menace below. Luckily though, we did outnumber them and they are very tired at this point, so the advantage is ours in the fight. But yeah, it's just still chaotic. We've lost about over half of my army at this point, and the enemy is still going fairly strong, although thanks to the enemy's morale debuffs, we are soon swinging in massively in our favour, and just like that, we've now won. There's only one unit left, and even then they start to retreat. So yeah, victory is finally mine. At this point, I just spend my time chasing after the enemy units, trying to kill off as many of them as I can. We're using spells as well, like Plague Breath, just to try and catch them out here and there. And generally just try and finish them off. So, with that mess of a fight over, let's go back to the campaign map. So, that was one hell of a fight. As you can see, we got away with a Pyrrhic victory. We lost about half the army, but in return we wiped out most of the lizard men. So yeah, can't complain too much. In fact, out of our units, we lost only one unit. Very, very close with the Chosen of Pestilens, but I'm so glad to see these guys are still around. Because don't forget, the Chosen of Pestilens have been with the army for pretty much since the beginning of the campaign. So the fact that we nearly lost a unit was really disheartening, but I'm glad we managed to keep him nevertheless. Now, we could go for the extra warpstone tokens, but I'm going to go and get that replenishment straight away. we might actually send Skrolk maybe in our next turn to go and chase these guys down. I'm not too sure yet. We shall see. Okay then guys, here comes the big moment. So well, as expected, it's gone after Bubborat. Bandsbar, not exactly in my favour. I'm going to retreat, like I said, and it looks like he's moved back to the monument. Now, is he going to try and chase him down? I don't know, did he try? I can't quite tell. But in any case now, he's in a kind of a vulnerable position. As you can see, we're... well, I'll show you in a second, actually. Stability... Recruiter, Superior Defender for Skrolk. Quite fitting, I think. And some useless traits. Right. Okay. So if we head back down to... where are they? Here. Like I said, well, has put himself in a bad position. We've got Bubborat now at full strength, ready to go. Skrolk, not exactly in the best of shapes, but he's still pretty healed up. So what I'm thinking is, if we switch you back to normal stance a minute, bring you down to here, and then we'll grab Bubborat to come and attack. That looks a lot better to me. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and skip that. There we go. Couple cash... wait a sec. I was just amazed, actually, how much replenishment we managed to get in with Skrolk, even. Right. Let's take the tokens this time. We've now destroyed the followers of Chaos. Excellent news. Picked up Ruin's End. Battlemaster, Ruin's End for both. Sigil Sword. Okay.
I am the Plaguelord.
I think it would be a good idea for us to go after this army just to kill it off. But the other thing, I guess, is that we could just leave it. That way then it can just carry on with its own thing, really, and it means the enemy have basically spending money on an army that they can't really use effectively. So we could always do that. Alright, the Death Master. Time for you to have a go. Garrett is in March stance, so if we catch him, it should be a pretty decent fight. Okay. It is an ambush. And the fact that they've got March stance. So, really, I think I will just skip this. We did lose a unit of my Death Runners. That's fine. That's okay. What will I do instead? We'll just eat the captives, get the replenishment. Let's move you... in fact, if we move you to Hoalotl, right, not only will we get more replenishment, but let's have a quick look. We can get Death Runners through global recruitment like that, and he should be back up to full strength in the next turn. So that's then you done, and then we can finish off then you. To be honest, I'd rather deal with the Skaven army than the survivors from there, so let's bring Skrolk back over here again, and we'll see about getting Bubborat to lead the way. Wait for it. Perfect. And goodbye. That should now eliminate all of the Skaven armies that spawned as well. There we go. Gluckstone, Shield Distraction. Right. Let's get Skrolk now back to the monument. I'll risk the march this time. And what I'll do as well, though, is I'll bring Bubborat as well. Because by putting him here, he should be within reinforcement range of the city, in case we need to defend it yet again. So that should, though, be everybody. Right. Got 44,000 to spend as well, so over here in Hexotl, let's go ahead now and build the Rat King, in order to try and get the Vermintide upgraded. So we'll go for that. Alright, there's not much for me to do you. Let's just get you to Steel Technology in the following turn, I guess. Now let's just level everybody up. So Bubborat, I'll give you a last point if Scarred Veteran, and we'll go ahead and give you mutagenic elixirs. Could go for stand or die to increase the melee defense as well. But nah, let's just go for the bonus. No, sorry. Mutagenic elixirs and scarred veteran. There we go. Okay, slice in. Okay, continue giving you harder hits. Unlock Ishini.
Skrolk cares not.
Yeah, at this point I really haven't got anything else to spend on you. We'll just start working on your, well, campaign skills for nothing else. And that should be everything there. Let's quickly have a look now, see if there's anything we can upgrade. I suppose we can do that with you now. We'll sort that out as well. Hopefully that'll clear up public order a bit. We'll leave that for the moment. Alright, over here, let's get that upgraded. Let's get that. Let's see, Hissing Guard, we'll get that upgraded, that upgraded. Headhunters, the altar's actually doing relatively okay now, so I'll leave it as it is. We'll get you some more defenses just in case. That's all okay. Counterattacks, let's just go and get you some more money. Yeah, we'll just do that. We'll upgrade that. We'll get the walls here, do the same here. And we'll grab that as well, just to give us even more money coming in. And that should be everything. Let's see. Gem mines. I'll give you the arcane generators as well, just to boost the income a little bit. Although, actually, saying that, we don't make a ton of money. Just go ahead and get that for now. And then finally, how's Mormel doing? 18 out of 20. Well, like I said, something I wanted to do is move him down to Subaltern so we can get our hands on a few more Storm Vermin, I think. And then, yeah, we'll be ready to send him off. Although saying that, we already got 3 units. No, it's fine. So guys, sorry for the sudden cut in the video just now. Basically, I got way into recording last night, didn't realise what the time was, and realised I had to get to bed, ready for work today. So I made a save just before starting the battle, and, well, starting it now I guess. Video should be coming out in a few hours though, so hopefully we haven't got much left of the video to do. Got another 20 minutes I think I can fit in. But anyway, we're here at Tor Elazor, where Mormel has finished his movement and laid siege to the city. Now the garrison has got a few decent units in here, like the Black Guard down here for example, but on the whole, I think we can deal with this army pretty easily. I am going to fight the battle myself though, so we don't take as many casualties, especially because I don't know what could happen next, and Mormel is fairly isolated, as he is on this side of the map. So, see you guys down on the battlefield. So guys, here we are at the Battle of Tor Elazor. Now you can see on the timer above, we've actually been fighting this battle for 4 minutes and 18 seconds. And I've basically done no. So guys, here we are at the Battle of Tor Elazor. Now, as you can tell from the time above, I've actually skipped forward 4 minutes and 20 seconds into the battle, because, well, we've seen it happen before, and I didn't really feel the need to show you guys, me just knocking down walls and devastating the enemy garrison. So just to show off my handiwork, we've destroyed all the towers that were active against us, as well as destroyed the gate. Pretty much the entire enemy garrison that was stationed on the front walls have been destroyed and wrecked. I think the only thing left really at full health was, well, the Death Hag that's hiding behind here, and the 2 units of Cold One Knights sitting around here. And even then, these guys are about to get a special delivery, courtesy of Ickett's Wares. Now, while they're doing that, the Destroyer of Foe Fiends are just firing at the walls just because I wanted to see how effective they were. And I've got the Avalanche Mortars and Mormel's special delivery just to fire on the Cold One Knights inside. Now, the real reason why I wanted to show this battle in particular was to check out the new units we've recruited for Mormel's army. If you remember, we recruited the 2 Stormfiend units as well as the Chimerat. So, let's swing over this side and introduce you to them properly. So going past all of these guys, you can see Mormel in the back there. Here is our first unit, the Storm Fiends with Shock Gauntlets. Now they do look really, really cool. You can see the gauntlets arcing away with Warp Lightning. And if I hover over here, not only do they have armor piercing damage, but they've also got magical attacks. And they've got a magical aura, which if I hover over here, is electrified armor. So it only happens when they are in combat, but it actually causes damage to the enemy unit attacking them. So I thought that was pretty cool. But that's not our only creature. Up here is the Chimera. And just look at it. Doesn't it look absolutely disgusting? But at the same time, really, really cool. But if I hover over it, you can see its stats up on the side there. It does have a Warp Fire Breath, very similar to the Hydra. Although, to be honest with you, I forgot all about it into like the next battle or something like that. But, and even then, I did it at the very end of the battle. But it just looks really cool. And you can see the drool coming off it. Look at that. Ugh, indeed. And then finally over here, we've got our Storm Fiends with the Doomflayer Gauntlets. Now, these guys have also got quite a nifty ability, but I need to bring up the card. They're anti-infantry, got armor piercing damage, but if we hover down here, they've got as their special ability the best defense. So, when they get into melee, plus 24 armor. Given that they already start with 130 armor, this just skyrockets it to over 150. That's a lot of armor at their disposal, so they can really stand their ground when needed. But, and then finally, of course, we've got Slasher Thing and Slayer Thing sitting over here. Now, if I speed things up a little bit, at this point, the victory is mine. Right? The enemy have not got much left, only 196 of the garrison of 1,000. My avalanche mortars and that are just firing away. We actually had a weird situation where a unit of bleak swords came out of the settlement for some reason. They weren't retreating or anything, they just marched out. And so I just shot them to death with my Warlock and Giselle units. Now, over here then, we've got the Cold War Knights just taking some damage from the avalanche mortars. Not getting as much damage in as I would have perhaps liked, but we are firing at the furthest of their range. This unit's already started to retreat, and it's very close to the end of the battle now. I was a little thinking about how am I going to get my Reaper bolt throwers, how was I going to deal with the repeater bolt throwers, as well as the Feral Manticore back here? So I did try and do the same tactic as I did in a previous episode, where I putting in the Terror below as well as a unit of Clan Rats using the Menace below. But it's not going to be that long until the battle's actually over. So, got the Cold War Knights coming in. I've got units just hanging up on the wall, trying to last as long as they can. We've still got some shots coming in from the Warlocks. In fact, you can see at this point, we destroyed the gate, which did a ton of damage to the Black Guard units there. And I believe that's actually enough to get many of the units retreating. You can see morale is dropping across the board. And here we are a moment later as I start bringing in the Storm Fiends, just to see what they were like in combat. So, Bolt the Contagious is going to go after a Dreadlord around the corner. But as we swing around here, see these guys just charging in. Their job, of course, obviously they still kept the banners, interesting. But these guys go after the Cold War Knights, who despite being anti-large, are just overpowered by the sheer strength of the Storm Fiends. Barely taking any damage in return, and then just wiping them out. Look at that so quickly. Phenomenal work. Now with that, it is basically over. You can see over here, I'm just about to start bringing in the Terror below and the Menace below, but unfortunately the enemy retreated at this point. So I figured, well, might as well just end the battle with a decisive victory. So all in all, very impressed with what I've seen so far of the Storm Fiends. It's a big shame that we weren't able to use an entire army of them, but there was no way my income was going to be able to manage the upkeep. But yeah, these guys have done a good job, even at just a little bit that we've seen so far. But anyway, let's go back to the campaign map. So there we go, decisive victory, only 2 dead. And I can't think, no, actually none of them were from the garrison or the army inside. It was all from the towers. But there we go, that's a victory I like to see. So,
we will not beg.
Unfortunately, because we've only just fought the battle and we moved to attack it, instead of doing the actual turn, it can't exactly sack you without having to attack it again next time. So I'm just going to go ahead and loot and occupy. And given that it is a capital, it's uninhabitable, so it's not exactly the best. But sure, let's just get it at level 5. Why not? Okay then, to our turn. So as you can see, the Order of the Dragon Lord has started their own ritual. They're at the same level now as us, so maybe something to worry about in the future. We also got the Servants of Chaos destroyed, the Fortress of Dawn is under siege, Clan Moses done Doom, raided. Oh, record effective recipes. Okay, that's the one for the Plague Priest, sure. And that was just a rebel army I dealt with during the end turn phase. Right. So, let's go and see what we need to finish off around here. So, if I could... where is... oh, hang on. Right, Deathmaster. Now that we've got you fully replenished, let's make you head over to the Pillars of the Unseen Constellation. That way then we'll be able to rebuild it, recolonize it even, and push up north. We'll probably have him go after the Wellsprings of Eternity. Oh no, actually, why don't I just get... both of these guys to go? Oh no. I'll tell you what, actually. Let's send both Bubborat and Skrolk over here. So we'll move up. How much is that going to give me? Okay. So they got a couple of armies nearby, but nothing really for us to worry about. We'll set up an ambush just in case. And we'll see about doing the same with Bubborat. Alright, best check. Yeah, I think we have defeated all of the armies now, haven't I? It's just trying to remember from last night when I did all of this before. Sure, let's just move you up to join up here. Here we go. Right. So that's all you've done. Upskeef, Deathmaster, Plaguelord. Two up. Have some fun assaulting their units. There we go. Hates men, right. Sounds like me sometimes. Right, over here, we've got Counterattack and we've got Malus Darkblade turned up. Now, to be honest, we've fought these armies before and defeated them easily enough. I don't see why it would be any different this time. I'd rather us initiate the fights though, because that way then we can take advantage of Lightning Strike and hopefully get them to come towards us with our mass artillery. But before I do that, let me just check the situation over at the Fortress of Dawn.
No.
Alright, so they do have a couple of monstrous creatures. Shades, Black Ark Corsairs, Executioners. But bear in mind, okay, we haven't actually finished all the levels up. Let's have a look.
Get the things.
I'll tell you what, if they try to attack me, I think we'll be okay. I honestly do. I think we can hold the walls against that army easily enough. We just have to keep an eye on the situation in the meantime and make sure we don't... could I say that? 2 more turns until the garrison runs out of supplies. Well, we'll see if they try to attack us, and if they do, we'll go from there. If not, we'll sort things out. Anyway, Mormel, good sir. Who do we want to go after this time? Counterattack or Malus? I mean, armies are very similar. Sure, let's go after you. Wow. Even with the enemy army not coming in as reinforcements, apparently it's not that big a difference in the fights. Huh. Malus is level 33 still, right. I think we'll be okay. Let's just grab a couple of these just in case. And fight the battle again. So here we are, guys, as Mormel prepares to take on Malus Darkblade once again. Now, despite us being the attackers, the enemy is forced to march towards us because my artillery has got much more range than theirs does. So you can see the Ikit's Wares actually taking some early shots over here at the repeater bolt throwers. Sadly missing with all of his shots, but what can you do? I will take a moment to say though that because of the way the map is designed, this has actually worked out quite nicely for us. You can see in the center that there's this nice bit of marshland. In fact, you can see bubbles just gooping up out from the bottom there. Really, really cool. But this is going to slow down these enemies' advance, which, in hindsight, playing through this replay, I think I should have moved my troops a bit closer forward so we can sort of pin the enemy in the marsh, rather than let them come out onto dry land. But it's one of those things. You learn from your mistakes after all. Now you can see already that we've got some shots coming in from their bolt throwers. It's okay, we'll deal with that. In the meantime though, we're taking plenty of shots coming in from everything else straight onto their lines. Very, very cool. Now, back here, we've got their bolt throwers. I'm just waiting for the right opportunity for me to try and deal with them. So you can see over here, for example, we're bringing in units of clan rats using the menace below, while the terror below turns up and attacks this unit. Now, surprisingly, it's been a little bit more effective than when we used it against the mortars. Not as much, but this time the crew aren't all the way back here, so that's definitely helped things out. This unit of shades, though, is going to be a little annoying. It's luckily targeted the clan rats, so their morale has fallen very quickly. Wasn't able to do as good a job as I would have liked, but it's okay. One of those things. Now, if we head back into the center, and I'm going to slow things down just so we can catch up on what's been going on over here. Over here, the Chimera has been going after a unit of witch elves that ended up coming around the flank down here. It's doing a good job against these guys, but it will start suffering a little bit as more units come into a fight. But we'll be able to be okay with this. In the meantime then, we got, executioners and that starting to retreat thanks to the mass amount of artillery as well as all the monstrous creatures we got flying in right now. We've got Mormel's pet thing helping out the Storm Fiends with the Doomflayer gauntlets over here, as well as some of Clan Molder's best. Over here in the center, we've got the Charybdis that's taken a bunch of damage in the past, and I've got Ickbolt and then dealing with it in close combat. Using the Rival High Talisman is reducing its melee attack quite a bit, and I didn't notice at the time, but there's Malus Darkblade. He managed to sneak right past Ickbolt and is making his way back here. Now, this is where I admittedly made a bit of a mistake. When I was on the campaign, on the battle map, you may have saw I've ordered some attacks, right? Now, some of the attacks are coming in from Slasher Thing and Slayer Thing, which you think, okay, that makes complete sense. Sending those in to deal with it. The other, though, is from my Warlock Master. Now, unfortunately, Mormel's already taken some damage because he was the target of the enemy's bolt throwers. And I like the cinematic, that he's rushing in, you got lightning shooting out from the Doom Wheel as Malus is trying to make his way through the avalanche mortars. And like I said, Slasher Thing, wham, just charges in with a belly flop. Bam, again. But unfortunately, I sent Mormel into close combat, which is not perhaps the best thing. Although, saying that, you just saw Malus getting shoved away on spite, thanks to Mormel. But yeah, between Malus's combat abilities, it's going to be much, much better than Mormel's. So Mormel actually loses a lot of health in this duel, and it's enough that I actually have to get him out of there. And I believe I sent Ickbolt in to eventually deal with him once we've dealt with, well, I was going to say the enemy Charybdis, but it's still alive. Anyway. Over on this side, we've got the Storm Fiends with Shock Gauntlets. They've already done a fair number on a unit of Witch Elves. I've just got to deal with the Shades here that, despite having dual weapons, are still able to fire, so we'll need to deal with them. Back here, the Terror below has done a fantastic job. Managed to destroy the one unit of repeated bolt throwers to make them retreat. The Shades again pinned in place by a unit of Clan Rats, so you can just watch the Terror sprinting forward, ready to go after them. Very nicely done. These guys are still getting the odd shot in, but they're not doing as much damage now, admittedly. And as you can see, I got my unit of Clan Rats that I originally summoned in, coming back now to hopefully finish the job. Now, I did get this. This is what I said about Mormel nearly dying, 233 health. He came so close. But luckily for me, I was able to get him in combat just in time. Slayer Thing and Slasher Thing are keeping him busy. Luckily, I've upgraded them as well with Death Frenzy. So it's done as an area of effect spell, which casts on both of them. And as you can see, plus 24 melee attack, giving them 94. Oh wow, I didn't realize that. 30% extra base weapon damage, immune to psychology, and here comes Ickbolt on his Bone Crusher, just to help join in the fight. But at this point in time, the battle's almost over. The enemy's been practically wiped out, only a few survivors here and there, and they're very quickly starting to withdraw. In fact, you can see right here that Malus has shattered as well, and victory is mine. Now, given that Malus's army was not in march stance, or full sail, I should say, it was just in normal stance, I am trying to take the opportunity to kill off what I can here and there, but it's still going to get a number of troops retreating off the map, but it's okay. It's one of those things. We'll go back to the campaign map now and make the decision what we're going to try and do with the survivors. So, decisive victory, although I must admit I came close to losing Mormel in that fight. But on the whole, we did alright. So, what do we want to do with our captives? I think we'll eat them. Any seconds? Okay, so we didn't completely destroy Malus's army, but we did do a fair bit of damage to them. Alright, let's have a look. I mean, we could just chase him down and kill him off, but I'm quite happy to let him take some attrition right now. The only thing is, what to do about these guys? I still think it'll be a good idea for us to go after them, and with Counterattack being a fairly low-level character, I think we'll be just fine. But I'm also thinking about how much longer is this episode going to be. Now, you know what? We'll finish the turn. So I will fight this battle because I would normally do anyway. I mean, we could auto-resolve it, admittedly. Oh. What happens if I do this? You know what? Sure, I'm gonna risk it. Damn! We actually lost slash the thing. Oh, god damn it. Ugh. Okay, okay. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. It's fine. Right. Let's do that. Let's get back you back to Toralazor. Right. And we'll take advantage of our global recruitment to get our hands on another one. He hasn't been just killed, he's just been injured. We have to rebuild him, just like Bone Whipper. Alright, where are they though? Where are they? Where are they? Where are they? Ah, here we are. Mutant Rat Ogre. 3 turns, but that's what we need anyway for him to replenish. Yeah. In 3 turns though, we'll be back up to full strength, so that'll be fine. So Toralazor... Oh, hang on. We've got mutant... Don't need 3 turns. Let's just do it 1 turn and get it cheaper. Right. Oh, it will take 3 turns anyway. Jesus. Okay. Sure, I'll do it this way because then we'll get the bonus to its starting rank. But yeah, that's surprising. Okay. We'll go ahead and repair... Don't really need this though. We'll demolish that. I'll keep the scrap heap because of the extra money. We could go for a clay pit, but I'd rather just focus on getting that. And let's have a look. We'll get that for the public order. And then this... Construction Cavern, Pox Cauldron. Ugh, none of these are really that good, to be honest. I suppose I'll go for... Because what do we need of that? Warp Turbine. We'll go for Construction Cavern. Because I can imagine as well, with Mormel leading the army here and leading the evasion of the Sea of Dread, I think it's quite fitting that we go and create the same buildings that he uses for the units in his army. So yeah, it'll take a little while, but I think that'd be quite fitting. Oh god, there's no way I'm going to spend 10,000 on that. Jesus. Right, anything else? Warp Forge? Sure, why not? Right, could go for the Spell Foundry, but I think we're okay here at the altar. Alright, just very quickly have a look. I think at this moment we're actually relatively okay. Oh, we can upgrade that, sure. And let's get that built up. Let's get that for the food as well, and that should be everything. Now we just need to quickly go for all of this. Okay, so Deathmaster, let's give you... Already got your sigil now. I'd rather make him more tougher in combat, especially given his low armor. So I think we'll go for Scarred Veteran just to improve his armor a bit. Okay, Mormel, you're going to get magical reserves, and out of these, major damage, strong against multiple targets, wind attack, direct damage area. Sure. I don't know which one's going to be the best one. That does say strong versus single combatant. Let's go for Crack's Call. Why not? See what that's all about. Okay, Ickbolt. Let's give you Immortality, and we'll give you Scarred Veteran. Ekich, not quite immortal yet, but slowly getting there. For the moment for you though, I think we'll go for Arms Dealer, just for the extra ammunition. And we might as well start working on more of this. So, let's go Death Frenzy. Okay, Obskeef can just stay where he is. And one thing I did want to check before the thing, my reliability is still really low, and I have no idea as to why it's still so low. I mean, we've done pretty okay with everything else. Right, is there anyone we want to try and maybe get peace with quickly? Maybe not with the Dark Convent, but Forces of Hagrief? No. Wolfheart Hunters? No. Okay, what about you guys? God, Bernhoff, despite the fact we've practically wiped you out, you still don't want to give me peace? Fine. So a little bit of unfortunate news. Obskeef has been injured by Karnos Kier. Now, given that Karnos is riding a bloody Stegodon, perhaps it's not surprising that he got injured. But it was only a wound, not actually death. So, you failed your mission, Bell Polisher. We're now going for Ultimate Experiments, which is going to give us extra tax rates. That's going to help us out a fair bit. Growth, and replaces the Vermintide Undercity buildings with Storm Vermin. Cool. Right, one thing I'm going to do quickly before I end the episode is upgrade this, otherwise I'm going to forget about it. So it'd be interesting to see what happens in 5 turns, because I've never actually done the Vermintide before, so looking forward to that. And it might actually just be good to convenient timing for our technology to be done, because it's going to take 5 turns to replace it all. Anyway, let's end things here for today, because I've got a bunch of battles so I'm going to have to go back and replay. So, thank you guys for watching today's episode. I hope you enjoyed, and I made sure to make up for last episode with the lack of battles then for today's one. And more importantly though, I do hope you join me next time for some more Warhammer. But until then everyone, take care, stay safe, and goodbye for now.